to the shoe. The shoe. Remember that? Who was that? Who was that? We got a really big shoe for you. I can't remember. Big, famous CBS show. The hell was that guy's? Man, I'm getting old. I can remember these things, but I can't remember the specifics anymore. Oh, man. Somebody put it in the chat. Who was that? A really big shoe. He had the Beatles, the Beatles on for the first time in the U.S. Ed Sullivan. Yes, Ed Sullivan. There. It popped in my brain. I remembered. Oh, man. Yeah, we got a lot going on. And you're right, Danny. Little trigger warning on our thumbnail cover photo from the witch from hell. She was testifying, and her husband also. We've got a couple of clips of that going on. The nightmare that you would expect. But a newly released video from the House Oversight Committee captured a furious Hillary Clinton slapping the table in rage and storming out of her closed-door Epstein deposition after Laura Boebert, Colorado Republican, leaked a photo from inside the room. Former Secretary of State's drama queen meltdown took place about an hour into her testimony about her and Bill Clinton's alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Social media went nuts last week after an image of Hillary during her testimony was leaked by Boebert, published by a conservative influencer. That deposition briefly delayed while Mrs. Clinton's team chastised the Congresswoman for her actions. Now, the Oversight Committee has now released the video of the two-time presidential loser losing it. Clinton shouts as someone reveals the leaked image, "I'm done with this. If you guys are doing that, I'm done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior." Nice, Hillary. We don't care. Clinton continues rallying against the committee when somebody off camera suggests the hearing would go off the record. Clinton said, "Oh, for heaven's sakes," slams her hand, then her fist on the table. "It doesn't matter. We're all abiding by the same rules." Boebert says she'd take the image down, which would have been difficult considering the person she leaked it to was the one who posted it on X. "I'm done for now," Clinton said, pushed her chair back. Can we go? Yeah, we can. Take a look at just a part of this witch. What the hell? Where is the audio? All right. We got some audio going on here. I don't know what the hell the problem is.
Statement.
All right, it's there. Let's do it this way. Here we go again.
Very long.
In 1998, you had those same beliefs?
Yes.
2005?
Yes.
2008?
Yes.
2012?
Sure.
2016? 2020? 2024 to present day, you've held these beliefs the whole time?
Yes, I have.
Have you always believed that women abused by powerful men should be believed?
I know where you're going with this, and I have nothing to say about anything in the past. I'm here to answer questions about this investigation.
So do you believe that women who are abused by Epstein and an Epstein circle of associates should be believed?
I think that many of them have made very credible accusations.
Have you always thought that, do you think that women abused by powerful men should get justice?
I think that they should have their time to be evaluated, and where there is adequate evidence, they should certainly get justice, and perpetrators should be held to
The
account.
question was, have you always thought that women abused by powerful men should get justice?
Yes, absolutely.
I agree.
All right. And on and on. Boebert responded to this controversy at the time, insisting that nothing wrong had taken place. Noted that the deposition was continuing. And later she was asked why she decided to leak the photo, and she said, "Why not?" The proper answer to that question would have been, "What difference at this point does it make?" Remember that? Yeah, you're right. She looks very nervous. Boebert quipped, "I really admire her blue suit. I wanted to capture that for everyone." After this video got released, a lawmaker took a shot at the former First Lady from Colorado. Said, "Anybody else notice Hillary was 100 times more angry with me taking a photo of her than she was with Bill Clinton taking rides on Epstein's orgy planes?" Good question. The fireworks, however, not limited to Boebert. Nancy Mace emerged from the hearing to allege Mrs. Clinton was often screaming at her during the hearing. Clinton's spokesperson, Nick Merrill, responded by saying that Mace was full of shit. Yeah, okay. This video, however, seems to prove otherwise. Let's see if we've got sound. No, we don't, so we have to go here. All right.
Going to answer your question.
Now you're gonna yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent
You're
my
going to yell at
time
me.
doing.
I'm a
I
survivor
spent
trying to look out for other
Well,
survivors, trying to
and
protect
I
one
was
another.
taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to get
lost
here today,
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I
about
have met
Howard
with
Lutnick.
Epstein survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey Epstein
I have
for
an
money,
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to
what's
Jeffrey
the question?
Epstein and
What's
his
the-
people to
I
raise
don't-
money
I
for
don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would
and,
let me
and,
finish.
and obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I
Epstein
didn't.
when
I
there was
didn't.
an intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to put it. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look.
the job that you would not do and refuse to do as Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
No,
Congresswoman.
I'm going to finish answering the question, which I have a right to do. I am very sympathetic to your personal situation. I have read about it. I have seen you testify or speak on the floor about it. And I very much sympathize with not only what you went through, but appreciate your effort to stand up for survivors. I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11. Nobody lost more people than Howard Lutnick. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee. But
intend
I
to.
knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother.
Yeah, okay. Nice job on the sympathy angle. It ain't working. Clinton discussed meeting Trump Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick as a New York senator, as you just saw. During her deposition, she said she never met Epstein, knew nothing of his crimes, despite Bill's 26 documented flights on the Lolita Express, and only knew Ghislaine Maxwell as a casual acquaintance, even though Maxwell attended Chelsea's 2010 wedding after Epstein's conviction. Well, isn't that nice? Unbelievable. Nancy Mace posting on X says, "We don't lie. We told you exactly what happened in Hillary's deposition. Her spokesperson tried to cover it up. We said the tapes would speak for themselves. Well, surprise, here's the proof, as we said."
Crimes were revealed and she was indicted and tried and convicted. I don't think people knew very much about at all
And
what
then
she
how do
was
you know
doing.
Howard Lutnick?
I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator,
All right, so that's pretty much what she just said in the last cut. And honestly, the less we hear from this woman, probably the better. But Bill Clinton also had a bit of a blow up. Actually, he blew up the Democrats and is during his own line of questioning on the Epstein deposition. This is absolutely incredible. Listen to this.
Oh, I hate this, but because I don't believe I should inject anything. But I do not want to leave the impression, but since there was no follow-up question, the president never, this is 20-something years ago, never said anything to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein either. He just didn't. That's the truth. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
Ouch. You can feel the cringe from the Democrats. Oh, I'm loving it. He's going through Jeffrey Epstein's documents. And if you watch this, it's insane. It's like he's reliving the experience. It is the absolute strangest things. Take a look as he's going through these documents. Watch the look on his face when he sees particularly this one picture.
Let me see it.
You see that?
Okay.
We can't tell what the picture is.
Mr. President, we have
Look at the
about
look.
five.
Look at the look on his face. Like, oh, I remember that. That was a fun day. Something smells here, folks. It smells really bad. Danny, if you have experience, you can see all the signs. I've got 4 kids at this point. I consider myself an expert in picking out different signs of lying. Oh, yeah. I have a gut feeling thing, which is extremely powerful. When I was working for the Monroe County Sheriff's Department in the Internal Affairs Department as a detective inspector, I was their kind of chief investigator at the time. I should say chief interrogator. I have a gut feeling sense, and you should rely, by the way, on your gut feeling. You really should. It does mean something. Mine seems to be very highly tuned, and I just was able to tell when somebody was lying to me. It just works that way with me. I don't know why. I don't pretend to know why, but I go with it. And 99.9 times out of 100, I was right. So use it. If you've got that gut feeling, depend on it. Hakeem Jeffries back in the news, making, as usual, a complete moron out of himself. Just, oh, man. Before we do that, though, let us tell you about the greatest coffee on the planet, and you know what that is. That's Blackout Coffee. See, what did I tell you? They always have these specials over there. Use that link in our show notes and head on over to check out Blackout Coffee. Do it regularly, too. Even if you've bought a bag and you're trying it, you're going to go back for more, do check every week or so because they've always got these fantastic deals. Look at this one. Premium instant coffee, 32 single-serve packs, 100% Colombian coffee. This is an American company that works with local co-ops and American farmers to grow the best beans on the planet in perfect conditions. Now here with their premium instant, you buy one, you get one free. How about that for a deal? This company supports the things you and I believe in. Like I said, it's an American company through and through. The First and Second Amendment, the right to life, our military, big supporters of our military, first responders, police, fire, ambulance folks. They support all of them. Also, by the way, if you do not have the ability to grind the fresh roasted beans, many of their most popular roasts are available ground. They will grind them for you. Subscriptions, got it. You don't have to think about it. Every month you'll get your updated subscription, and you can change or cancel anytime you want. Flavored coffees, pods, they've got all of these fantastic flavors. I wasn't a big flavored coffee fan, but I am now because this stuff is just so good. There's mine, Pitch Black Espresso. Absolutely the best on the planet. Not terribly expensive, and what I'm suggesting, if you haven't yet, just go over and buy a single bag of coffee and try it. Chances are you'll be back because it really is just that good. Use the link in our show notes and use the code J20 if you're a first-time buyer for 20% off your first order. That's in addition to all these great deals they've got. 20% off your first order with the code J20 at Blackout Coffee. Use that link down there in our show notes and take advantage of this special here too, the buy one, free one on their premium instant coffee, which is nearly, I'll be honest with you, ain't nothing better than a fresh ground roasted coffee, but they're instant, damn close. Good stuff. Thank you, Blackout Coffee, John Santos and the gang over at Blackout. We appreciate you being a partner here on the show. And all right, Blackout Coffee, the link is down there in our show notes. Use that link. You can't make this crap up, folks. You can't. Hakeem Jeffries calls Operation Epic Fury a war that's going to end in failure. Now there's a fine, upstanding American, huh? Democrats' reaction to the removal from the face of the earth, one of the most evil persons in modern time, Supreme Leader from Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Their reaction has been hysterical, unhinged. Quite frankly, it's been a bit juvenile. We got the usual America-hating suspects like Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, freaking out, pencil neck geek Adam Schiff, senator, busy peddling conspiracy theories. I'm almost surprised he didn't bring up Russian influence. That's his usual go-to. But House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries absolutely took the cake yesterday, basically predicting the military operations against Iran will eventually lead to failure. Almost sounds like he's rooting for his country to meet with some kind of disaster, doesn't it? Even for a Democrat, that truly is deranged. Here's what he said to CNN anchor Kate Bolduan. You be the judge. This is Hakeem Jeffries. Listen. The American people want us to focus on making their life better and making their life more affordable, not getting involved in another endless war in the Middle East that's going to end in failure. This administration somehow found the resources and has found billions of dollars for bombs, but can't find the money to actually bring down the high cost of living here in the USA. Now, you know exactly how the left is going to characterize this if there's any blowback, which there very much should be. They'll say, oh, that's not what he meant. They always do. He meant Americans don't want to see another long, drawn-out war like Iraq or Afghanistan. Certainly he would never say that he wanted them to fail. Oh gosh, no. And then he doubled down. At about the 45-second mark in this clip, he says the American people are not interested in their taxpayer dollars being spent for another failed regime change. Listen.
Military action is connected to regime change.
He did say this has been a winding road, but this did begin with Donald Trump seeing the protests, massive protests, and the bloody crackdown that killed thousands that occurred in Iran. And Donald Trump said very clearly, keep protesting, help is on the way. And this then led to concerns from him on the nuclear program.
There's nowhere in the United States Constitution where it says that we are to be the policemen and women of the world. I mean, that's the reality. Yes, we are the leaders of the free world at this particular point in time, but there's a role for the United States to play in terms of diplomacy, building coalitions, and none of that was done in this particular instance. And the American people, again, are not interested in their taxpayer dollars being spent for another failed regime change war.
There you go. There you go. He said it again. He doubled down. You can spin it like a tornado, Dems, but his words seem extremely clear to me. This operation already a failure. Nice, Hakeem, very nice. Jeffries opened the interview by claiming he was offered no justification for the attack. Immediately aged very badly because House Speaker Mike Johnson revealed yesterday that intelligence showed there had been a massive Iranian assault imminent. Johnson said the U.S. strike on Iran was a defensive operation designed to prevent staggering losses to American troops and assets. Waiting for Iran to strike first would have resulted in devastating casualties. Of course, guess what? Jeffries wasn't done. He had more crying, more whining he wanted to get out of his system, apparently. Wanted to stop the operation mid-flight, apparently. And that's why power was given explicitly to the House and the Senate. This is Jeffries. And Donald Trump chose internationally not to come before Congress, which is why we're going to force this vote on a war powers resolution and make sure that we do everything we can to constrain him at this point in time. Can you think of a stupider time to end this mission? Are you kidding me, Jeffries? Right in the middle of it, while the surviving members of the regime and the forces from the IRGC are feverishly plotting their comeback, you know they are. The internet didn't take too kindly to this bullshit either. Predicting or hoping for American failure is an absolute brutal look for a Democrat leader. These are different reactions to Jeffries and his bullcrap. The guy doesn't have a single functioning brain cell in his head. Maybe someday this annoying tool bag will become an American instead of a Democrat. Jeffries, another poster said, is a traitor. He wants the U.S. to fail. He hates our president so much, and apparently he hates our country. Plenty of more of these, but a lot of not safe for work stuff, if you know what I mean. He said a lot of diverse, thoughtless things this time around. This, however, may very well be the ugliest of all the diatribes this idiot has put out there. Unbelievable. I got a question for you. Why aren't modern American feminists celebrating the emerging freedom of Iranian women? Well, first of all, look at their priorities. And second of all, remember I said modern American feminists. And frankly, that should answer most of that question. As the military continues strikes on Iran, taking out the Islamic regime, Iranians literally dancing in the streets. For the first time in about 47 years, the Iranian people have really the best chance ever to take their country back, install a pro-Western secular government. But for women in Iran, it really marks the end of an especially brutal era. They can look forward to a lot of more freedom, to be able to live their lives the way they want. It's something that women all over the world should be celebrating. Right along with them, they should be out there celebrating. But amazingly, not all women seem to be celebrating. The most outspoken woman, American feminists, noticeably crickets about this celebration from the Iranian women. They've been fighting for equality for American women for some 6 decades now. Why wouldn't women being liberated from an oppressive theocracy be at the top of the list of victories for them? It should be. But for the answer to that, all you've got to take a look at is their priorities right here in this country. Goes without saying, those are all Trump derangement syndrome driven. First on the list of their fear that Republicans will take away their abortion rights. That fear became a reality when the passage of the big, beautiful bill defunded Planned Parenthood for a year. Now their fears that Republicans want to turn American women into nothing more than real-life handmaidens, compounded by the possible passage of the Save America Act. Their argument, how does anybody with a half a brain cell believe this crap? Their argument that married women won't be able to vote unless they change their birth certificate and other forms of government ID so it includes their married name. I'm sure a lot of married women out there would agree that it's never been a problem. Ever. You add to that American feminists upending support for transgender women, including their being allowed to play in women's sports, erasing the rights of actual women who they fought for during all those decades. It's really pretty obvious that American feminists have a lot on their plates. They're simply too busy to support women who, under the previous regime, could be arrested and beaten, in some cases to death, for showing too much hair while wearing their mandatory headscarves. The reasoning for not supporting Iranian women, oh, that goes much deeper. Dedicated leftist virtue signaling at the top of their so-called to-do list, which includes making sure that they, in no way, would be encouraging any Islamophobia, thus putting Muslims in the West in any kind of danger. Convoluted, sure, but when TDS clouds your brain, it almost begins to kind of make sense. Here's what is taking place on the streets of America. Iranian women celebrating, Iranian Americans rather, celebrate, and including women, celebrating the end of what amounts to decades of occupation and oppression in their homeland. Then there are the organized anti-Trump, anti-war leftist groups who are against anything Trump does simply because he's the one doing it. Doesn't matter. Save a baby? No, it's a bad thing. Trump did it. Interesting to note this anti-war crowd, usually nowhere near Iranian American celebration. In that crowd, liberal white women who think they're protesting another action by Donald Trump. In reality, What they're doing is protesting Iranian women who are gaining the freedom that's been denied to them for almost 50 years. Donald Trump has liberated millions of Iranian women with strikes against Iran, American feminists, crickets. Maybe the freedom and equality of all women, and by all, I mean all, just really isn't something they're interested in. It sure would appear that way. Man. Do we have a piece of good? Oh, we do have a piece of good news. We got a piece of very good news. I need a little pump from a Blackout coffee sip. Oh, yeah. Blackout coffee. Use the link in our show notes. Buy something. A Texas fire chaplain who was fired after saying men don't belong in women's sports. Fair enough. This is a fire chaplain from Texas. Well, he scored big time $78,000 settlement. Cases like this demonstrate that when you stand up, when you fight for your First Amendment rights, cities don't get away with this sort of thing. Texas-based fire chaplain fired after defending women's sports against the left trans agenda has scored a $78,000 settlement with the city of Austin. Chaplain's attorney, Alliance Defending Freedom Senior Counsel Hal Frampton, is the one who said that when you stand up, it matters, and cities can't get away with it. The case in question centers around Dr. Andrew Fox, a now former chaplain for the Austin Fire Department. He migrated to America from the UK back in 1999. Described by Frampton, Fox, in a volunteer capacity, was responsible for organizing the chaplaincy program, helped recruit assistant chaplains to assist with those kind of services. In their roles, the individuals would visit fire stations, go out to the scenes of emergencies to be with the firefighters after they had finished attending to the emergency, just basically so they had someone to talk to, chaplain-y kind of things. While volunteering with the Austin Fire Department, Fox also led a nonprofit bearing his name that manages various aspects of his ministry according to the legal filing. The nonprofit boasts a website that includes a blog section in which the Christian minister expressed his thoughts on a variety of topics, including faith, culture. The blog has nothing to do with the fire department in any way. Instead, it introduces Fox simply as a speaker, an author, and a teacher. Fox's situation turned really bad in the summer of 2021 when he reportedly faced anonymous complaints, anonymous complaints, from within the fire department of Austin in a blog post he authored just about the same time. Fox described in his blog post that allowing males in women's sports contradicts teachings in several Bible verses, such as the Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him in Proverbs. The incident supposedly prompted months of back and forth with senior department leaders, including its LGBT liaison. And the head of the department ultimately told Fox he wanted him to pen an official apology letter to the LGBT community at the fire department. Apparently, he penned a letter explaining he didn't intend to offend anybody with his comments, but refused to recant his religious beliefs, which simply recognize the biological reality that men are men and women are women. And you can't change that. Well, he filed a lawsuit against the city after he got fired, and he alleged that he faced retaliation and discrimination for exercising his First Amendment rights. Well, according to ADF, the settlement announced Monday awards Fox $78,000. Austin Fire Chief Joel Baker also issued a letter thanking him for his service to the department. Americans' First Amendment rights do not stop when you walk through the front doors of a fire department. If we simply allow people to speak freely, well, that's what America is all about. And everybody will be better off for it. A hard lesson to learn, Austin Fire Department. Deal with it. You know whose name we haven't heard in a long time, and honestly, I couldn't care less? Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, really. You know this witch is 85 years old? Well, her latest flub says she might have been playing in the boat in the little girl's pool with Joe Biden. The left's been playing this cognitive decline card against Trump all during his first term. Remember that? They've never stopped. No medical evidence to back it up, but that's all they had to talk about. Left-wing networks literally bringing on some quack doctors claiming that something Trump did or said was, oh, it's a sign of mental illness. Such a joke. They spent years, 4 years exactly, looking the other way as oatmeal brain Biden stumbled and shuffled through his presidency, slurred his speech, freezes on stage, losing sentences mid-thought. It wasn't until June of 2024, the debate performance, that denial became politically impossible. Of course, now that Trump is back in the Oval, they're running the same gameplay again. By the way, did somebody see the video? I should have saved it. I don't have it. Maybe you saw it. It's out there on social media of Biden walking across, I don't know, some portion of grass or beach or something. And then they have this fully functional robot, autonomous robot, who also walks the same, and they're identical. Now, the conspiracy tinfoil hat crowd says Biden was a robot. I'm not going to go there, but if you can search out this video, it's amazing because they do walk exactly the same way. Anyway, one of their most prominent voices, the Democrats, in botching basic vocabulary on camera is I'm not going to say it, is Nancy Pelosi. An interview with Spectrum News posted just last Friday, she blasted the Supreme Court's presidential immunity ruling from last year, promptly handed everyone a reason to question her mental facilities, shall we say. During this interview, the 85-year-old former House Speaker launched into an attack on the court's July 1st, 2024 decision, which grants the president immunity for criminal prosecutions because of official acts. Pelosi wanted to accuse the court of giving Trump a blanket pass. Just two problems, though. First of all, that's not what the ruling did. And second, she couldn't say the word. There might be some decency in the Supreme Court. This is Pelosi. For this Supreme Court to give total amnesty, just amnesty to this president, that whatever he did, it was okay, is so contrary to the fundamentals of our country. All three houses, the president, the Republicans in Congress, and the Supreme Court, a disgrace. Amity, twice. Amity is a place on Long Island, okay, with a horror house. Remember that? Amityville? The word, dear Nancy, is amnesty. You might want to write it down. She fumbled it both times. She did get it right later in the interview, to be fair. But this idiotic stumble just took the wind out of her sails for the entire attack. It's hard to make any kind of a really sharp legal argument when you're basically stumbling around with vocabulary words. These kind of flubs have been happening with this woman for years. The Democratic Party, same party that denied Biden had oatmeal for brains, fantasizing about Trump, pretending like nothing was wrong. Of course, the most iconic and ironic example of this was in November 2024 when Pelosi went on NBC to accuse Donald Trump of cognitive degeneration, stuttered, visibly lost her train of thought right in the middle of what she was talking about.
I think that what the ex-president just said is a further indication of his cognitive degeneration. You saw recently we was talking about whether he chose electrocution or being eaten by sharks. Something's very wrong there. And indicative in it also is diminishing the power of the press, which is the guardian of our freedom in our country.
Indicative?
So I think people who might thinking about voting for him have to know that he can't last as president for 4 years with his brain deteriorating at the rate that it is, and it's clearly evident. And they may be voting for President Vance, which would be a horrible thing.
Oh, the irony is that it practically wrote itself. She was literally stumbling over her words when warning voters about Trump's deteriorating brain. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Pelosi's apparent cognitive issues been the source of speculation for years, gone hand in hand with predictions of her retirement. November, she finally announced she wouldn't seek re-election. Maybe she finally realized she can't keep this up anymore. That's okay, Nancy. You have a nice retirement with your ice cream from your freezer. Oh, man. Hey, that's cute. The left trying to talk about how brains work when they don't have one. You know, there's times when I wish we still had our studio audience button here with the applause and the laugh track. This would have been one of those applause moments. Hey, how about this one? Sanctuary cities made to pay for crimes that illegal immigrants commit in their city. Great idea. We love this. For the longest time, obviously a lot of people, including me, have been questioning why sanctuary cities allow these illegal immigrant criminals to be protected when they are clearly creating problems for hardworking United States citizens living within their region. Even when ICE comes knocking to make arrests, Democrat leaders can't help but dig their feet in the sand, insisting these aliens deserve to be protected. Well, Georgia State Rep. Houston Gaines just proposed a new bill, and I love it. Along with his fellow Republicans, this bill would actually hold sanctuary cities financially accountable for damage or crimes committed by the illegal aliens they are apparently sworn to protect. Now, that's an idea we could get behind. Gaines based the entire idea around the late Laken Riley, nursing student who made her home near the University of Georgia, out for a run, killed by an illegal migrant who has since been arrested, charged, currently, by the way, requesting a new trial. But such an act, as heinous as it is, and Gaines is using that particular case to hold local governments' feet to the fire if they continue to follow their sanctuary rules. He says, you've seen these issues across the country, in Minneapolis, certainly in LA, where you have to really liberal local governments that just simply don't enforce the law. And we're going to put an end to it here in Georgia. 6 Republicans pushing this bill, which would broaden the ban that's already taking place on sanctuary policies. What we're doing here, he says, is making sure people across the state know if your local government is not doing their job, it's time for the state to step in and make sure they do it. And one of the ways to do that is hit them in the pocketbook. You got it. Great idea. If local leaders are not going to listen to distinct voices that are concerned about illegal alien criminals living in their area, they are certainly going to listen when they start losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding based on the damage caused because they're protecting them. It's like when a kid breaks something in a store. The parent is the one who's got to foot the bill. Same thing. It's a matter of responsibility. If you, as a city, are protecting these criminals, then when they do something wrong, you're going to have to pay for it out of your pocket. This is how local leaders are supposed to be running their government to begin with. Good on you, Mr. Gaines. Efficiency, assuring the safety of local citizens. That's what their sworn duty is. Voted in by the citizens to take care of them, not go and protect those who would murder, rape, assault. Gaines believes this would be ideal for other states, and I could not agree more. In fact, every state in the union should be behind this, and in fact, maybe this should be some federal thing if we could figure out a way to do it. He says, I believe other states should do this because it's something that'll work and hold local governments accountable if they're failing to enforce their own laws and putting their own citizens in dangerous situations. Boom. Here's to wishing Mr. Gaines and his fellow Republicans the absolute best in moving this bill forward. Pray this thing gets taken up and passes, makes wave with other governments, starts to catch on. Illegal immigrant criminals who commit these acts, like murder, like poor Laken Riley, do they deserve protection? Yeah, I don't think so. And neither do the ones who are protecting them. Make them pay. Make them pay. Hey, I got one more for you. Miko, our little baby Shiba Inu, she is, this by the way, if any group knows how to extend a holiday, today is the last day of Chinese New Year. I know. Does it seem like it's been like almost a month? Well, that's because it has been almost a month. Today's the last day, so in fact, earlier in the show, I'm sure you heard some fireworks. They're going to go off again. Come midnight around here, the last moment of Chinese New Year, I'm sure it will go absolutely freaking nuts and drive our little girl Miko absolutely crazy. We comfort her. We have a thunder jacket for her, which seems to help a little bit. But honestly, to see the look in her eyes when she hears these fireworks go off, some very close to our house, it's, you can't help but give her a big hug and hold her tight. Anyway, she has a collection of squeaky toys, which she likes. She can't always figure out how to make the squeak sound, but when we pick it up and squeeze it, and it's like, she loves it. And then we throw it to her, and she's trying to figure out, stomping on it, how to make the sound. Doesn't always work, but she tries. Well, we got a video of this little doggy named Hippo. And for the very first time ever, he's visiting Scotland. And he had no idea that they actually make squeaky toys for adults. Look at the look on his face. How classic is that? Good old Hippo. Who, I don't know, what is that, a pit bull? I can't quite tell. Cool dog. But he's amazed at this adult human squeaky toy. That's cool. Oh, man. Did you ever try to put on loud, soothing sounds or an audiobook, or maybe play your voice in podcast really loud to drown out the noise or something to soothe her? The problem is that these fireworks are one step below professional level. In some cases, I would guess they're probably professional level fireworks. They are huge. It almost shakes the house. That's how bad these things are. It's incredible. Now, here in Malaysia, fireworks are illegal, but how do I say this? That doesn't matter. They're everywhere. And we do what they can. We do what we can, but we get through it. And after today, it'll be over. However, we are in the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. And so Hari Raya will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. And guess what? Yep, they celebrate that with fireworks too. Chinese New Year and Ramadan almost synced up this year, so we're getting a double dose. There you go. It looks like you just have to spend the night in bed holding her tightly. And you know what? That's exactly what we do. Yes, indeed. All right. We're done. We're out of here. We're finished for a Tuesday. Dan Bongino coming up next at 10 here on Rumble. Be sure you watch and follow the show. It's a little green button right down there. It says follow. Click that. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. We don't spam your inbox. Don't worry about that. If you don't have a free Rumble account, just get signed up. It takes 2 seconds and it's very easy. And then you get to follow the show. You get all the benefits of being having a Rumble account. We are also now, thank you Rumble, a premium creator. So we are working on creating some of the premium content you will find. It's a paid account type thing, but well worth it. A lot of great content over there on the premium channels. And that's very cool. We're happy to be a part of that project, and we're looking forward to it. All right. Make a purchase, huh? Blackout Coffee, Patriot Mobile, support our sponsors, and I'll see you tomorrow.